Hello all, today we're here with Mignon Lee-Warden and we're going to talk about all sorts of wonderful things that she's creating and becoming and being, that she's helps people to deal with anxiety and all sorts of things with her magic. So Mignon, lovely to be with you today. Do tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey to this point.
Okay, well, I grew up in apartheid South Africa, and my father was in prison with Mandela, who was an activist. And so from a very early age, I was born into a terrifying situation, but I was also born into a home that taught me about justice and equality, which was a very precious gift to get from my parents. And when we were growing up, the police were always surrounding the house and the phone was tapped. So there was a lot of anxiety and trauma, and I was shot at when I was 5 years old. And I constantly learned how to manage anxiety in my life. And that's kind of brought me to a place where I'm learning that I have a gift of being able to help others who have trauma and anxiety because of my own post-traumatic stress and anxiety.
Yeah. So what is your deep passion and what drives you?
My deep passion is helping people, because the world is so unbalanced at the moment, and so many people have no safe home and they have no country to go to, and people feel excluded and isolated. And my biggest passion that drives me is to create safe spaces where people feel at home and welcome. My biggest desire is that everyone on the planet would feel safe and feeling like they're with family, and that everybody would realize that we are all one. We are all one planet, one family, the earth, the animals, the people, that we're all one.
Yeah, and that's a core message in there for the whole of humanity, that it's about the fact that we are one as a collective, and that feeling of safety from that, the feeling of being part of a whole and part of a family is, it's just awesome. And what you show yourself is that no matter what your experience, you can find that and you help others to find that. So how do you go about helping others to find that space?
For me, it's an ongoing thing. It's not that, hey, I found this thing and I'm there. It's an ongoing thing that every day changes and that I'm learning all the time. So as a musician and an actor and a cultural worker, I started leading circles where people would come together and we'd sing songs and dance and poetry from different faiths and cultures. And people would come to me and say, when I came along there, I felt like I was with my family. It felt so safe. I started running festivals. I ran a refugee festival for 10 years called Welcome Here. And every person who walked into this hall of 800 people would say how welcomed and safe they felt. And I started realizing that I had this ability to create safety, to create safe spaces. So I do one-to-one healing with people where I use energy healing and biodynamic Cranio, Sacral, which is very much about settling the nervous system and helping with trauma and shock. I do it in groups as well as meditation. I use music and sound healing and crystal bowls and voice and energy healing. And all of it is sort of leading towards just settling down the nervous system so that people can connect to the earth and connect to the home inside themselves and their own sense of safety.
Yeah, because that's first and foremost the recognition that the human body is the house of us, is, it's your temple to care for you whilst you're here. Everything else is, just things. This here is your house, and as you say, that's where that feeling of safety comes in that moment of recognition. So you do such a lot. You mentioned music there, and I find that music helps people to release all sorts of things in lots of different ways. So how do you use music to help people to heal and to discover themselves and who they are and their safety?
Well, I use music personally to express myself. If I feel there's, something, an injustice or something I'm grateful for, that comes through my singing. I've also been studying mantra and the power of sound. And when you in the Sanskrit language, when you speak mantra, thousands of years of blessings and power comes through each of the syllables on the way that you place your tongue, and really having a daily practice of mantra and really brings me home and anchors me. I use crystal bowls. I use sound, music, the sounds of the ocean, sounds. Many of the spiritual leaders are saying now that sound and music is the way of the future of healing. And I really think that vibration is so powerful. For the last few days, I've been hosting a woman who's come here from Mexico via Mount Shasta, who channels the golden energy of unity. And I didn't know what it was about, but I helped set up a concert for her, and she did a healing with me. And everyone in the room, she sings this beautiful light language that comes through her, and the whole room was transformed. And when I sing sounds from my heart, whether I use a crystal bowl or whether I use my voice, the energy in a room changes. The other day I sang at a yoga festival, and I was really nervous. I thought, I don't know what they want me to sing, but I just dropped into my heart and sang Ma. Ah is the sound of love. And everyone in the room just stopped and came and lay down on the floor at my feet and just soaked in that sound of love. It's so powerful.
Yeah. Would you like to show us some?
Oh. So this is a beautiful rose quartz crystal bowl.
Yeah.
And, the rose quartz is the sound of the heart, and it's in C, which is the base chakra. So this is really grounding heart energy. So I'm just going to sing Ma, which is, Ma has many connotations through many, many cultures. Ma is the mother, and Ah is the sound of love. So drop into your heart space.
Beautiful. That really is powerful. And it reminds me of the actual words of mana, which I really connect with as well. Eye to eye, heart to heart, soul to soul, I see you. And that's kind of what you, in a way, connect with through what you're doing with that, because my heart certainly was resonating there. So
I did during the school holidays, I did a sort of chanting with mums and bubs, and all the kids got their shakers and rattles, and they came in, they sat in front of me and like, what are we going to sing? And I got them to do this, and I said, just go into love, just feel love in your heart and do Ma. And these beautiful children were sitting there going, "Ma," with their eyes closed. It was so gorgeous. And this love pouring out of them. It was so beautiful.
Yeah. And that's wonderful as well, that you just connect everybody, all age groups, with their heart space. That's that's a wonderful attribute to have the feeling, give people that feeling of safety, and the feeling of recognition, and the feeling of being home. That's the kind of feeling that you give them. And
I also use meditation and mindfulness and guided visualizations. And very much the focus is very much about, because when people are traumatized, trauma and anxiety are frequencies that run through us. So if we ground ourselves, and when we get anxious, it goes from the solar plexus and it goes up, and we dissociate and we leave. So traumatized people are often out of their bodies. And so my focus to settle the nervous system is often just to really bring people down into their bodies and ground them and connect to the earth. It's a very, very important thing that we think we're doing, but actually it's in our head. We need to bring our whole body back and connect with the earth, and that's really really important too. And just I work with what's called still points in Biodynamic Cranio Sacral. We work with still points, in coming to still points. And so in my meditations and my one-to-one work with people where I settle trauma and anxiety, I very much work with coming to a still place within yourself.
Yeah, because that's crucial, because you made an important point there, that a lot of people don't realize that when they suffer trauma, they do actually leave the body and they're hovering around above, and it's why they're so kind of hyper and can't connect properly with situations or whatever. So that grounding them right down into the earth that you mentioned there is a crucial element in overcoming trauma or any kind of bad experience that anybody has.
And most of us, the way the planet is at the moment, most of us are traumatized. We've all experienced some trauma or shock in our lives, or grief, or things that are in our cell membranes, in our muscles, can actually be relieved.
Yeah, that's very, very true. So, God, I mean, we can talk forever about things that you do because you really do. You're a people person, and you've been through such a lot of trauma. Actually, you're a shining example to anybody who has started off in immense trauma, because you have found peace and can really beginning to connect with how you can share how you've done that with others. And many people don't get to where you've got. So maybe you can share that journey a little bit on how that example that people can follow to overcome such deep-seated traumas.
I think the thing is that I don't feel like that. I don't feel like I've got to a place of peace. I feel like it's still an everyday and every moment journey with me, that I have learned incredible tools throughout my life to work with trauma and my own anxiety, which is not to say I don't suffer with anxiety, still I do, but I manage, I'm still learning how to manage it, and I have things that I can see people who don't have those tools, and I'm able to give that to them, to do a transmission to help them. So I think it's an ongoing journey for all of us, and for me, I've only recently realized that I have the ability to calm someone even if they're 10,000 miles away from me. you know, I'm sort of figuring out who am I and what is my gift to the world. And the other day, I saw a live with Anna and Shona, and Shona, you were talking about what is my medicine.
Yeah.
And that really took me on a journey of thinking, well, what is it? What is my gift? What is my service to this planet? And I think it's kindness. And so there've been moments in my life where I'm struggling to survive, and I'm going, well, okay, I need to get out there and find a job. And in that moment, I stopped and dropped into my heart and connected with the earth and went, what is it that I'm passionate about? And if I were to stop this struggle to survive and I've got to do all these things and actually just drop into who I am and the love in my heart and my own connectedness, how would my life be if that became my passion, if that became what I followed? And whenever I have done that in my life, incredible things open up. So it's always this relentlessly needing to ground myself and drop myself into my heart. And that is my message to anybody that has trauma or anxiety. It's an ongoing, daily, minute by minute thing that you just bring yourself back into your heart and just connect yourself to the earth. And that's really what I'm learning and what I'd love to share, but not as a sage who got it and I'm awakened. That's not kind of who I am, really. It's more about I'm happy to share the skills and the gifts that I have so that all of us can be a bit calmer and a bit more present and the world can be a better place.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So have you, you know, when you, as you say, when you're talking about your medicine, and you are a very, very kind person, and you have such, well, with what you shared with us before, you have such capacity to bring instant peace to people with what you do, just for being you and who you are. But for you, how or what would you like to offer, and how would you like to offer it to people so that they know what they can come to you for right now?
Thank you. I mean, I'm still figuring that out too, but I offer meditations and sound healings and sacred concerts of sacred music, and I'm hoping to go on tour. So anybody who wants me to come to their home and do one of those, I'm happy to. I offer one-to-one healing sessions as well, which either physically face-to-face or on Skype or Zoom, online. And I'm also going to be setting up retreats, particularly for women over 50 or for people that are anxious and suffer with trauma. I'm going to be setting up retreats, and that's going to be something that if you have a retreat center or you have somewhere that you would like to have this kind of work, I'm hoping that next year to travel and be doing this work around the world with people of all faiths and all cultures and all backgrounds and all abilities. So that's really my desire, is to just bring this work to anywhere in the world that needs it.
That's our desire too, that you are able to do that. So it's fabulous that you vocalized it, because it's our dream here as well to provide those things for you to be able to do that. So yeah, I do see you doing that, and being extremely good at it. And
hold on to that.
Yes, do hold on to it. Do hold on to it. And expect it as well. Yeah, because one of the things that you do as well, as you've mentioned just there, is event organizing for people as well. So you really do encompass the package of doing everything that, it's like you take the stress off people's shoulders, because you like the core workings of all that you do. And basically much of what happens around you can't function without you present, because you're the organizer, you're the central person that makes the cogs turn. And I think that's kind of just the way you are with your joy, and you just embrace people with your presence. And I think you have such a lot to offer people. And I can see you planning our events as well. I
love organizing events. That's, you know, probably my biggest drive in life has been to create family and tribe around me. And I do that by organizing sacred events and festivals and you know, conferences and tours and things, because I love bringing people together, and that's something that I've just I have a Facebook page that I've just called the Sacred Culture of Kindness. Maybe going to the music and events and the tours and everything.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's fabulous. So do tell us anything and everything that we haven't heard from you yet that you want to share, because you have such a depth to you. And I think there's more to come.
Yeah, I don't really have that much more to share, just this desire that I'd like to reiterate for all of us to have it, everyone in the world, all sentient beings, to have a safe place to go to. That's my biggest desire. And that trauma is inherent in all of us, and the world is getting more and more unfriendly. There's so many people that are displaced through tsunamis or through as refugees, through war, and just to be open to all of us, that we all are family. And you know, through all the spiritual teachings are coming through this concept of oneness. And you know, in the Aboriginal tradition, it's called kanyini, and it's this: what if we were to treat every person on our street as if they were our family, and every person in our town, and every person on the planet as if they were part of our family? How different would life be? How different would the world be if every politician believed that we were all one human family? There wouldn't be, you know, plans to keep boat people out. There wouldn't be refugees, because we would all have a loving responsibility for the earth and for each other. And that's really a belief that I would love just to grow, so that everyone on the planet has that belief. And how different would the world be if we did believe that?
The perfect response. I left an open table and you went right to the core of your core and brought out beauty. Yes, and amen. And you know, that's such a perfect note to finish on, because that's such a pure message, and it sums you up completely. And thank you for sharing you and your joy, your kindness, your safety, and all that you are with us this evening. And yeah, I honor you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you unfold and what you can do for the humanity whole and the oneness. And if you do want to connect with the lovely Mignon, you can find all her information on our website. It's atoughworldouthere.com. Thank you very, very much for being with us.
Thank you for creating this vessel for transformation and oneness and love, both of you.